budget changes and use both undesignated and/or funds designated for retirement to fund said changes. And I'll make that a motion.
Motion by Mr. Bell, second by Mr. Bovozo, for the 2014 budget changes of $146,000 plus of the negative impact on the budget. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Resolution of the Common Council of the City of Port Jervis, 2014 auditing services. Whereas the City of Port Jervis Common Council has recognized that the 2014 audit and preparation of audited financial statements must be done annually by an independent firm, and whereas the Finance Committee sent out requests for proposals and conducted interviews of several selected firms to ensure the quality and qualifications necessary for said work, it is hereby resolved that the Common Council of the City of Port Jervis, per the recommendation of the Finance Committee, is approving the firm of Bonadio and Company, LLP, for the price of $32,500, which is inclusive of the Port Jervis IDA, Port Jervis Community Development Agency, and directs the City Clerk Treasurer to make all necessary arrangements for the same. I'll make that motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Bell, second by Mr. Oni, to approve 2015 annual audit services of Bonadio and Company. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
That's all I have right now, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Fire Emergency Management, Mr. Wildgross.
Thank you, Mayor. The only thing I have for the fire and emergency management tonight is just a reminder to everybody, the fire apparatus will be out this Friday for Halloween around the city, so be careful. The fire trucks will be out. Keep an eye on things as well. And also the next meeting for fire and emergency management will be November 17th, right here in the council room following DPW. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Code and Legislative, Mr. Siegel.
Thank you, Mayor. The last Code and Legislative meeting was October the 1st. The next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, November the 5th at 5:30 here in the council chambers. As we always do, we invite people to come to attend the codes meetings. All the codes that people were speaking about there, all the codes that were written this year are discussed at the codes meetings. This is a government agency. Nothing happens quickly. It goes for months and months and months before it comes to the people. There's ample opportunity for people to express their views, and we encourage that. If you have concerns about even past regulations or laws that we presented, it's not too late to come and get them changed. I think you'll see today that something may get changed on one of the most current laws. We're here trying to make the city a better place. We're not here to try to hurt anybody financially or physically or in any manner whatsoever. We spend a great deal of time researching, a great deal of time discussing, a great deal of time arguing amongst one another, and then we come up with something, and without the input of the people, it's very difficult to gauge what you think out there. Facebook is not a place to debate these decisions that we come up with. It's not a place to ask questions, get answers. It's not a place for debate. The place for that is right here. I watch Facebook. I know the mayor does and some others do as well. And I try not to debate people. I try to put information out there to encourage people to come and to listen and to participate in this process. As I said before, it's very difficult to try to make these decisions on our own. So I beg people to come to the codes meetings, come to the other committee meetings. At the next codes meeting on the 5th, if there are people here, I'll do public comment first. If it takes up the entire hour, so it be, and I'll reschedule the codes business for another day. But to come here and to tell us that we don't care, to come here and say that we don't understand, to come here and say that you can't afford it. I know you can't afford it. We all know you can't. Some people can't afford it. I voted no because my constituents said they can't afford a sewer tax. Do we need it? we need to come up with a way to raise that $38 million. It can't come out of taxes alone. If somebody has a better idea, that would be great. It'd be good to get a grant. But what we do, once again, is we need your participation. So I beg you, if you want to come, it's at 5:30. I know it's early, and I've asked the mayor if we could change the hours, and we haven't done that for this month, but for next month, I'm going to try to change the hours, move the meetings that are behind us so we can start a little bit later and go a little bit longer. But that may not be necessary if nobody shows up. Sorry I'm going on so long, but this really bothers me. For the municipal parking law, one couple showed up. They came here, they said that the fees we set are too high for a second vehicle. Before we even put the law in place, we changed that based on that input. But only one couple came. So to come now and to argue about it is sort of like, well, you know the saying. So it doesn't mean things can't get changed. We change things all the time. Come to the meetings and let us know your feelings. And back to the other business here. Code agendas and minutes on PortJervisNY.org. And sorry I went on so much.
That's all right, thank you. Public Works and Environmental Affairs, Mr. Cunningham.
Thank you, Mayor. The minutes from the last meeting from October 20th have passed out. I'd like to make a motion to accept these minutes.
Motion to accept the minutes of the
Second.
Public Works by Mr. Cunningham, second by Mr. Woligrowski. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So
Let me just
carried.
give a brief summary of some of the things that we discussed at the Public Works meeting. We discussed the progress on the water treatment clarifier up at the water treatment plant. We discussed some of the ADA ramps that have been poured in town. We talked about the work that has been finished on the parking lot and the walkway up to Point Peter from Reservoir Avenue side of the mountain. Work is continuing on the towpath behind the old Great American up to the West Main Street area. The new salt barn up at the landfill is almost finished, and we will start getting ready for our winter season, the purchase of salt and processing material that is needed to take care of our roads. The Promenade project is in the final stages of revision, and the last thing that we discussed was the Tri-State Bridge project and the road widening project. So those are some of the things in the Public Works meeting. Our update right now for next week: garbage and recycling will be on normal schedule for the next 2 weeks. Bag leaves, brush, and yard debris will start getting picked up on Mondays in all wards, starting Monday, November 3rd, and will continue until further notice. There will be no loose leaf pickup at this time, and it will be announced at a later date. The city transfer station will be open the week of November 3rd for the full week, as will the brush and the leaf pile. Remember that you need a coupon to dump bulk waste, and they are available at the city clerk's office during regular business hours from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday to Friday, for a cost of $4 for $10. Remember that this Friday is the 5th Friday of the month, and there will be no paper pickup and no bag leaf pickup. The next DPW meeting will be on Monday, November 17th, here in the council chambers at 6 p.m. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. I'm sorry, what was that date again?
17.
17, thank you. Police Committee meeting, Mr. Henry.
Thank you, Mayor. The Police Committee met on Monday, October 6th. You all received a copy of the October Police Committee meeting minutes as well as the September meeting minutes, and I motion to accept them at this time.
Second. Motion by Mr. Hendrick, second by, was it Mr. Ritchie?
Yes.
To approve the minutes. All in favor, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
And you all received a copy of the September monthly report from the Police Department, and I motion to accept that at this time.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Hendrick, who was the second? Mr. Bell, to approve the monthly report of September. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
The Halloween curfew is to begin this evening, October 27th, and run through November 5th for all individuals under the age of 17 years. To that end, I am going to read the law as it stands on the book and subsequent resolution on this year's curfew. The statement of purpose and finding. The Common Council has determined that during the time of year known as Halloween, there are large numbers of minors, often in roving groups, that congregate in the city during the evening hours, causing general disturbances to residents and generating a large number of police calls and complaints. There is also a dramatic increase in the number of criminal mischief calls during this period, especially several weeks prior to and after Halloween. In order to reduce juvenile offenses, protect the children of the city, reinforce parental authority, and enhance the quality of life for all residents of the city during this period, it is necessary that a curfew be established to keep minors out of the public areas during the evening hours. Restrictions. It shall be unlawful for any child under the age of 17 to remain in or upon any public street, highway, sidewalk, park, school, vacant lot, or other public place in the city of Port Jervis between the hours of 9 p.m. and 6 a.m. from October 14th of the year to November 15th of the year. Violations and penalties. A. A police officer who has probable cause to believe that a child is in violation of this resolution shall take such child to the police station where the child's parents or legal guardian shall be immediately contacted. If, after this contact, there is still probable cause to believe that the child was violating the resolution, the child shall be held until the parent or legal guardian arrives at the police station to take the child home. If no parent or legal guardian has arrived within 3 hours with respect to any child under the age of 16 years, the child shall be turned over to the custody of the juvenile aid officer. If no parent or legal guardian has arrived within 3 hours with respect to any child 16 or over, that child shall be released. A second or subsequent violation of this resolution by a child aged 16 years shall constitute an offense within the meaning of the penal law of the state of New York and shall be punishable by a fine of not less than $25, nor more than $100, or by 15 days imprisonment, or by both such fine and imprisonment. A second or subsequent violation of this resolution by a child under 16 years of age shall be reported by the police to the Juvenile Aid Bureau. Exceptions. The following shall constitute lawful exceptions to the restrictions and penalties above. 1. The child accompanied by his or her parents, legal guardian, or other responsible person who is over the age of 21 and approved by the child's parent or legal guardian. 2. The child whose employment at a bona fide job where the work hours extend for a period of 1/2 hour before to 1/2 hour after work, while said child is going directly between his or her home and the place of employment. This exception shall also apply if the child is in a public place during the curfew hours in the course of his or her employment. However, to qualify under this exception, the child must carry a written statement from the employer attesting to the place and hours of employment. And 3, a child going directly from a school activity or an activity of religious or other bona fide not-for-profit, voluntary, or charitable association. Therefore, in the interest of public safety, the Common Council hereby enacts a Halloween curfew to begin this evening, October 27, 2014, and to run through November 5th, 2014, for all individuals under the age of 17 years. The curfew shall prohibit individuals under the age of 17 years from being out of the city streets and sidewalks between the hours of 9 p.m. through 6 a.m. each evening. And I make that a motion.
Motion by Mr. Hendrick,
Second.
second by Mr. Cunningham, Malagrossi. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
And the next police committee meeting is Monday, November 3rd at 6 p.m. here in the council chambers. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Liaison, CDA, Mr. Hendrick.
Thank you, Mayor. The CDA last met on October 22nd. Director Majinski and Mr. Farr continue to work on the Orange County Municipal Grant application being prepared on behalf of the city for funds related to storm damage from Irene. Preventative projects will qualify, and there are 3 projects in the city to be considered. Permanent MacArthur Circle underpass generator for $120,000. Alternate flood event road access for $410,000. And Department of Public Works relocation for some $3.5 million. Director Majinski has been in contact with Amy Vargas, Regional Director of Empire State Development and the Mid-Hudson Regional Economic Development Council to discuss Whitewater Park status and ask about grant possibilities. The next CDA meeting is tentatively scheduled for Wednesday, November 19th at 7 p.m. at the Pike Street Rec Center. That's a week early based on the fact that the following Wednesday is Thanksgiving Eve and Mr. Roney's birthday. So that's all I have on that, Mayor.
Thank you, sir.
He wouldn't provide a cake, so he changed the date.
Mr. Ritchie, IDA, please.
Thank you, Mayor. The IDA hasn't met since our last council meeting, but we are scheduled to meet November 12th at 6 p.m. in the council chambers. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. ADA, Mr. Hendrick?
Thank you, Mayor. The AD met on Thursday, September 18th. DPW has now completed curb cuts in West End and 4th Ward and on East Main Street. The next quarterly ADA meeting will be in December and announced at a later date. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Siegel, housing.
Thank you, Mayor. The last meeting, Housing Authority, was October the 15th, and there's a lot to report. The new apartment numbers have been installed and are now in use. There is a large sign on each building indicating the building number and the units within. That will help visitors, EMS, police, fire, locate the apartment that they're looking for much quicker than the coding system they had previously. The community room preliminary renovations have started. The bids are out for the balance and are due back on November the 10th. 4-H meets at Menacing Park on Wednesdays once again. The operating subsidy was funded at only 88% this year, and workers' comp audit was completed and there were no findings. They received an achievement award from the Housing Insurance Fund, which this is the 4th year in a row, 2010, 11, 12, and 13, and we're in line for a 5th year. So that's good news too. It helps keep the costs down, the insurance costs down. The meeting day has changed to the 4th Tuesday of the month, starting in November. Therefore, the next meeting is November 25th at 7 p.m. at Hillside Terrace. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Woligrowski, Recreation.
Thank you, Mayor. Yesterday afternoon, October 26th, the Recreation Department sponsored the 68th Annual Halloween Parade right here in Port Jervis. Approximately 350 adults and children participated. Costumes were great, kids were happy, and the weather was perfect. Thanks to the Elks for co-sponsoring the parade. Thanks also to Fort Knox Storage, the Recreation Commission, Port Jervis High School Band, PJ Police, PJ DPW for all their help and participation. Busybody Arts and Crafts classes are held Saturday mornings at the Youth Center from 9 a.m. to 10:30. These classes are free of charge and for boys and girls in grades K through 3. These classes will run through December 13th. The Recreation Department is sponsoring a trip to MetLife Stadium on Sunday, November 9th to watch the Pittsburgh Steelers take on the New York Jets. The cost of the trip is $80 per person. If you wish to add the tailgate cost, it is $120. The cost includes the ticket and transportation. You don't have to drive, park, or pay for gas. You can come with us and watch the Jets lose. I added that. Only a few tickets remain, and contact the Recreation Office at 858-4045 or email pjrec@frontiernet.net for more information or to purchase the tickets. The Recreation Department's Fall Port Pride will be held on Saturday, November 15th. Fall Port Pride Day is our annual fall cleanup where we hit the parks and clean up the leaves and branches. This event will be held from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Volunteers are needed. We will be cleaning Farnham Park, Church Street Park, West End Memorial Park, and Veterans Park as well. Contact the Recreation Office for more details. The Youth Center Recreation Room schedule will be under modified hours on the following days: October 31st, this Friday, from 11 to 5. There will be no teen night. November 4th and 11th, from basketball program will start up in December 2014. The Flyers will go home with the 3 through 6 graders right after Thanksgiving. The next Recreation Commission meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, November 19th at 7 p.m. at the youth center. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Tourism, Mr. Bobozo.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I'd like to offer my applause to the Tourism Board of the City of Port Jervis. I was not at the last meeting, so did not get to report at that time, but the Fall Foliage Festival was absolutely fantastic this year. It helped a lot that it was a gorgeous day, but when I was down there, the streets were absolutely packed. It looked like there were more vendors than the year before. I did not make it to all 19 food booths. However, I did kind of roll my way out of the festival. So it was a terrific time and a terrific job done by the Tourism Board. With that being said, that means we have to move on to the next event that the Tourism Board will be putting on, and that will be the Chris Kindle Mart, which will be on November 30th, which is the Sunday after Thanksgiving, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Last year was the first year that they did this festival, the Christmas festival, and it was absolutely fantastic. I bought a lot of gifts for family members at that event. I also bought a lot of junk food, which my waistline did not thank me for. But it's a truly special event that takes place, again, 5 weeks from yesterday, so it's right around the corner, the Sunday after Thanksgiving. Also, the day before that, on the 29th, at 6 p.m. at Gray Point, will be the annual Christmas tree lighting in the City of Port Jervis. I believe there will be some special guests for that, so I encourage everyone to attend the tree lighting as well. It is my understanding that the next Tourism Board meeting will be on November 12th at 6:30 p.m. here, because the normal scheduled date would be a holiday. So anyone from the public who would like to attend is welcome to. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Ritchie, zoning?
Zoning Board hasn't met since our last meeting, but we're scheduled to meet. I'm not sure if there's anything on the agenda yet for November 4th. There's nothing on the agenda right at the moment, but if there is, it's November 4th at 7 p.m. in the council chambers.
Planning?
Planning Board, we met on October 21st. We had a pre-submission for Ming Moon LLC on 59 Front Street, a conditional use permit for a fast food and takeout restaurant. For those who don't know where that is, it's right by the temporary Rite Aid store that was downtown, and on the other side of it is where the Erie Trackside Manor. It's that vacant building there. One of the board, Mr. Fuller, who's the engineer for the project, presented the site plan proposals. He did indicate there were firewalls that separate the two vacant storefronts. One of the board members had asked about the second floor, what they were going to be using that for, and they're going to use it for venting upward from the restaurant, and as well as some storage. Another board member had asked about the dumpsters. There are dumpsters around the back. And the other obstacle was they asked where deliveries were going to be, and they indicated behind the building, and at that point, Mr. Rivera, our new building inspector, wanted to know how wide that area is, and the board was unsure, so we'll get that information at the public hearing that's going to be set for November 18th. We also had a site development plan for NSR Auto Sales on 50 Fowler Street. That's the old auto sales down, just like diagonally from Al's Music Shop. Mr. Aber, representing Four Brothers Improvement Incorporated, has the authority to speak and act on their behalf. Mr. Riccarello, the chairman, indicated at the public hearing to make sure that letters go out 10 days prior to the public hearing. He also wanted to make sure that if they have any employees that are going to work at the facility, to please indicate that on the site plan. He asked about extra lighting. He also said to make sure that there's a designated parking area there's a tenant above that building that rents. And after that, we're satisfied. They set a public hearing for November 18th. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Siegel, Plumbing Board.
Thank you, Mayor. The Plumbing Board, there was no meeting last month due to a lack of a quorum. The next meeting is November the 5th at 6:30 p.m. Electrical Board, there was no meeting last month due to lack of a quorum. And the next meeting is also November the 5th at 6:45 p.m. And as I said earlier, I'll try to change the times to a later time for both those meetings and the codes meeting starting in December. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Senior Advisory, Mr. Siegel?
Yes, I met with the senior advising representatives and residents again this month. There are no major issues to report.
Thank you. Access 23?
There is no report, however, I did have correspondence with the president of Access 23 and indicated to him that we have not had a report in quite a few months and we need to start getting that again. I think he made a reply as I was leaving the house, so I'll get that information to you as soon as I can. And I'd like to repeat what you said. If there's anybody out there who would like to help us tape Access 23, George is doing a great job in the absence of anybody else out there from Access 23, or would like to do the camera for the internet. Please see the mayor. We're looking for help. Can't do it all alone. The mayor's a pretty busy guy, even though he thought he could handle it all. It's a little tough to do all these little extra things.
Right. It's taken.
But we're always looking for volunteers to help us out, and that's a great place, and it would help somebody with their friends that are looking for the older things to be seen. So give the mayor a call, give me a call your councilman. I'm sure the phone won't stop ringing. And that's all I have on Access 23.
Thank you, sir. Under Mayor's Correspondence and Information Update, the first thing I'd like to do is welcome our brand-new building official, Mr. Dave Rivera. Dave comes from Warwick, right? Originally from Warwick. Married into a long-time family of Port Jervis, and is raising his children here, and he's a great new addition to the city, and welcome aboard.
And we'll keep them busy.
We will keep him busy. As Mr. Siegel was talking about volunteers, in April we started Community Service Saturdays. We actually started off with the Memorial Park down in West End, and then we moved up to the Canal Park and really started to clean a lot of the weeds and the brush out of the canal, and opened up the path a little bit better. And of course, along with the summertime help, we helped clean up and widen the towpath, which goes from West Main Street down into the plaza. We also took on a city-owned building that had been left behind in really, really bad disrepair, and we ended up taking 9 truckloads of garbage out of that house. But I wanted to say that we finished this Saturday with a strong group. A lot of kids volunteered, a lot of adults volunteered, and I really want to say that I appreciate those people who came out and volunteered, and I encourage you to all put on your schedule come April of next year. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to maintain our towpath. We're going to work more on the canal. I'd really like to get the canal up and running, and we're going to look for some grant money over the winter time for that, to remove the trees and clean up that clean out the canal and actually get it into operation. But we're also looking at a housing project, and it's just something great that you can say that you've done for your community. A lot of the parents, any parents that are out there listening, your kids need those volunteer hours from school. The Humane Society is great, the hospital is great, but if they need more, we're there from 9 to 12 on Saturdays, from towards the end of April to the end of October. But again, thank you to all the volunteers. Just a reminder, if you're going to put an addition on your existing house, or you're going to do an improvement to your house, you can qualify for a reduction in the new assessed value. It is called the 421F. Before you do anything, you need to go see the assessor, Ms. Yvonne Duryea, who is downstairs in the basement of City Hall from 8 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon. Just go to her office, but it's a nice discount that you get by doing an improvement to your house, and you know, it raises each year, but you start off with a 0% increase on that new assessed value. You either go on our website, you can come to my office, or you can go to the city clerk's office, and we've had a really good response lately. They're bumping back up again. For businesses who want, we're going to start hopefully at the first of the year.